Chester update. He's now drinking water, not splashing it, and he's spilt all his food. He's gulping that now, aren't you? I feel like I spend my life fixing boilers, but the boiler has now gone off again, the oil boiler at the farmhouse that's the holiday let. So there's obviously something wrong with it, and obviously it went off on Friday night. The plumber managed to get it back on, it's gone off again now. Turns out there's nothing wrong with the boiler, it's still on. It's just this huge tank here and this huge one here isn't big enough if everyone has a shower all at the same time. There's really good water pressure, so if they all get in the shower and all turn it full whack, then it can flatten this tank, and then it gets fed off that tank in obviously sort of 10 minutes, which makes the water feel cold inside. So we're gonna have to put another one of these tanks on now and double it up. That's the problem with 7 bathrooms. Does anyone want a RAV4? If you do, let me know. Used to be my uncle's, it's been my dad's for the last 5 or 6 years. No, he's getting a new one. Well, he's not, he's upgrading it to a second-hand one. I think you could have gone 4i. Yeah. Nick's got a big load of straw on for his cows. I think he could have gone higher though. Nephew's off school because it's half term and Christine's not well, so we're going to get Henry packaging seed socks and putting them all together for everyone, because he can look after the yard as well. I feel awful today. I think I'm catching what everyone else has had. So while I'm waiting for it to dry a little bit before I go spraying, I'm actually going to go and have a little snooze for half an hour, see if I feel any better, and hopefully the field will dry a bit more. Hopefully by the time I've finished my snooze, Sam had sorted out another layer of lacquer or two, and we'll see what that looks like. Full of water now. I'm just going to go and rinse out on a field of oilseed rape. I was spraying oilseed rape last, so I'm going to wash out on the field of oilseed rape, so if there's any residue, at least it's on the field of oilseed rape. I've just come through now over the top of these, so I can like squeeze over the top of the sprayer. Notice though, someone has obviously pulled up and then decided to fly tip travel cart and a huge box full of roller skates. So if anyone knows whose that is, let me know. And it looks like a huge bathtub as well. Spin the camera so you can see. There's the travel cart, there's the box, there's the roller skates, and there's the bathtub. Actually looks in good condition as well. If anyone wants it, it's on Water Lane. Clearly stuff that someone's put in a car and just dumped here, rather than just take the tip when they're on the way. And then obviously this was tipped the other week. A bin and a TV. That van with the grey van with the white door, the police are sorting that out now hopefully as well, that we caught fly tipping the mattresses. I said if you can't do it for fly tipping, can you not do it from insecure load, because they might have a higher fine. So anyway, they're looking into it now with the council as well, so hopefully they'll get them. While the boom on the spray is folding out, I'm just going to show you this. So this is what we sprayed nearly 2 weeks ago now. If you look, it's kind of like twisted up and dying, which is good. That should have been, well, it was up here. It's obviously all shriveled. But when we had the meeting last night, it's a Monitor Farm meeting, so we're on the steering group, so we're talking out about what we're going to have on the agenda for this season. So that's basically, we have 4 or 5 meetings a year at Bill's, and other farmers come and have a look, and we look at sort of Bill's farm and things going on this farm, try different experiments, and then try and come up with solutions, or have experts talk to us about it. Anyway, one of the things we were talking about is this strip here on the oilseed rape. So down the field of oilseed rape, you always get this strip where nothing grows. Now, I think it's field mice and maybe rats or something coming out of the undergrowth, or maybe little birds. Bill's not so sure, because he thinks his rape came up and then got eaten. Now, I don't think you'd get field mice eating oilseed rape while it's green. So could that be snails? Slugs maybe? Don't know. What do other people think it could be that eats this strip of oilseed rape around the outside of the field? There's one here that's really twisted up. So that originally was 18 inches tall. Now it's flat to the floor, dying. Thistle. As I come around the field, there's a ditch there, and you can see the same thing. It's all eaten along that edge. So basically 2 or 3 metres all around the whole field has been grazed or eaten as a seed. The rest of the field doesn't look so bad. Bit of pigeon damage, you can see it's just a bit stalky left where they've eaten the leaves. Which is a bit of a shame, but at least it's all still there. Stops us having to put a fungicide on in there if they eat it. It's just the point of getting them to stop eating it when we want it to grow in the spring. There's a gap in the hedge here, and I don't know whether everyone remembers last year when I found them dens that people have been making. Anyway, I've just come to see if anyone's done any more to them, because they are got quite big. So this was going to be a golf club, and I think they went bust and they never did anything. But people have come all over them and took over. Started building all this kind of, call it bushcraft or something. It doesn't look like anyone's been here for a while, but it was going to be pretty big. See, they've been building walls around it. That was obviously the cover for it, which is now like shredded in the wind. That must have been some sort of fire pit. There's a really big one sort of right over that way, but it's a bit of a walk, so I'll maybe show you that on another video. But anyway, it's good that they've got bored of this one, to be fair. Especially when they were lighting fires, because if they light fires and they go home and leave them and then it sets fire to all these trees, it's not good, especially if the crop next door is one that could burn as well. I thought they might have been in it now, because you could see in the hedge line quite a distinctive gap where they've obviously been accessing it through. They've obviously cut some branches here in the past, and it leaves a hole in the hedge. If you look, with a hole this field I'm on now, it's just a little bit tacky on the top, bit more tacky than I'd like. The spray is just leaving a bit of a footprint. It's not cutting in, but it's a bit black and a bit greasy. And if it does rain, it could end up with like silver tracks in the field. And you can see here it's obviously a bit compacted on this headland, line a bit of water there. We'll get the sprayer empty and try and get on some barley. Filling up now with a bit of manganese. I need to take the top off the tank though, because I think it's sucking it in. And it was clicking. See where it sucked the tank down, so it's going to be annoying now, because this lid bit won't undo. I'll have to hammer it around, but it sucked itself back out. Managed to get it turning. There we go. Pop back up a little bit. I did it with a spanner. Sam's given these a few coats of lacquer now, and it's looking a lot better. They look pretty shiny now. Sam and Andrew are just packing up some seed socks. They're a bit heavy for Henry. These are the Kermit the Frog editions. That's the shore there behind them trees, and with the sprayer now. And I've only got, I could have done it all in one tank, so 5,400 litres, but instead I've only put 2,600 in, because I still feel awful even though I had a snooze. So I don't want to be 3 hours, an hour and a half, and I'll be knackered. So I'm just going to spray 2 fields through them woods. So I'm just looking, you see the little green lines here, I'll flip the camera. This is some of the last wheat we sowed, just coming up now nicely in its little rows. So hopefully this will be green over next time we're up here. It's a lot slower this time of year. I mean, if you think that's been sown over 2 weeks now, whereas a month ago over 2 weeks, there's a lot more growth on it, but obviously it's not getting the daylight hours and it's not getting the heat units. But the stuff that was sown like a month or so before it, you know, it looks brilliant. I think you can nearly graze sheep on it. Hope you can hear me. Put my hood up because it's a little bit breezy. Not enough to stop me spraying, obviously, but I've only put manganese on anyway. It's Jackie McCord's 60th today, and it's also Roy from Crew's 50th, so happy birthday to you. You're on the bumper. I'm spraying this field of barley now. It's a lot stiller through the trees, and then I'm going to go on to that field of wheat there that's obviously a lot greener. I always get a reflection, don't I, on my phone? Yeah, you see, no, you can't now, they're behind the trees, but Joe and Bill have finished digging spuds today, so they're over their working ground in case they can get sowing tomorrow. But it's literally just thatched right across the whole rows now, so got ground cover, which is good because it'll stop the ground washing if we get any heavy rain over the next sort of like few months over winter. You can nearly graze sheep on this, it's that thick and that tall, but there's no fences, so we obviously won't be. I'm just putting a bit of manganese on now, so I'm putting 100 litres of water on. 2% of that is manganese, which is, so I'm putting 2 litres of manganese on, which is 15% in strength, so that equates to 30 grams a hectare, is it? No, 300 grams a hectare maybe, which is absolutely a tiny amount, but it just stops it looking a bit yellow. There's some fields at the moment that are going a bit yellow. I can't actually just see any around here where we've got a bit of like water stress, where the roots are wet and they're not really getting a lot of air in the soil. But this is just needs a bit of manganese. You can just see it's just a little bit yellow. So hopefully it should perk it up a little bit. You can put it on with the seed, but it's just quite an expensive way of doing it. But the advantage is, if you end up then having to come on in this weather, you don't make any mess. But to be honest, I'm not making any mess anyway on these wide tyres, so it's not too bad. If you look here now, this is where I've already gone round the headland once, and there's no mess. It's just, it actually looks worse on the camera, but it hasn't cut in or anything. It's not particularly leaving any wheel marks, so that's nice. I'm just going to turn down the next tram line now. And I can take my pick because we've got 12-metre tram lines and a 36-metre sprayer after a mishap. But this was the first field we drilled, so that's the reason for that. But I'm pleased with it. It looks well. I'm pleased with the drill. It's gone well. I went past Bill and Joe's field of barley before that they drilled into some ground that they'd likely worked, and you can just see these little luminous green lines in it now. It looks brilliant. Just on the wheat field now, you see the nice neat lines. This was sown into oilseed rape stubble. You see some of the stubble sticking up. Sun's setting behind me. Sprayer's performing beautifully, and you can't see, they've just gone behind the trees again. Anyway, that's a spud field next to the working ground, and I'll turn the camera back on in a minute when they come back. So there it is there, New Holland, working a spud ground down in the shadow of, focus, the shadow, sorry I'm bouncing up and down on the seat, in the shadow of the fertiliser plant. Nothing seems to be happening there. So they've dug the spuds, they've just ripped up the deep wheel marks, and then they're levelling off now with their carrier disc. So hopefully if it comes dry, they'll be able to get it sown in the next few days. But it is giving it wet. Oh, beacons are on, saying hello. Where's mine? There we go. Put them on for a bit. Yeah, not even a whisk of smoke out the fertiliser plant. There's the control tower there on the airport, and then obviously you've got the lighthouse just there. There's the Mersey, looking quite still now actually. Well, I'm back at the yard, it's now dark. I'm going to go to bed. But I'm going to edit this, what you've just watched, before I go to bed. So thanks everyone that's watching. If you want to watch another video, it's up there. If you want to subscribe, it's over there. I'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully I'll feel a little bit better.